Good evening and welcome to the 6 p.m. City Council meeting of September 2nd, 2025. Please note that all council members are present. Councilmember Ritchie is online. If you'd like to say hello, that'd be great.
Thank you. I'm here.
All right, thanks. At this time, I'll turn the time over to Vice Chair Hire to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Chair. Would you please prepare yourself and recite the pledge with me, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Please take a moment of silence with me. Thank you. Next on our agenda is acknowledgements. Are there any acknowledgements from council members? Excuse me. Seeing no acknowledgements from council members, I think the mayor has a quick acknowledgement.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you know, we have recently gone through the process of selecting our new fire chief. We're joined tonight by Fire Chief Slater. And in the process of replacing our fire chief, we had vacancies in our command staff as well. And since he vacated a deputy chief position, that created another vacancy. And so we are now at a point where we've announced our new command staff for your and our fire department. And so I wanted to take a moment with your support to bring up Chief Slater for him to introduce to everybody here tonight our new Ogden Fire Department command staff.
Council Chair, council members, thank you for taking out some time for us today. It's been an extremely busy couple months in the fire department, and I cannot be happy enough to introduce our command staff. It's taken a little bit of time. We went out nationally for a search for 2 new deputy fire chiefs and for a fire marshal, and I'm pleased to say that it turned out to be internal candidates. So Brandon Parr is now our new fire marshal. He's been our deputy fire marshal for quite some time and has done a fantastic job. As we had those fires over the last month, Brandon jumped in with both feet and helped lead that division and had some great success with him at the helm. So we're excited for what he can bring to our organization. We have Matt Hess, who is the new deputy fire chief over operations. Matt was battalion chief in our organization and has spent his whole career within Ogden Fire and has kind of just risen through the ranks. He'll do a fantastic job with the fire operations. He really understands that. Ashley Phillips has also been with our organization for quite a long time. He was a medical captain prior to this appointment and has an in-depth knowledge of EMS in the state of Utah and will help with some programs and to make our EMS system even better. So we're welcome to take any questions, but I wanted to introduce you to this command staff. I have full faith and confidence that they can execute our mission, our vision, and they hold true to our values for the fire organization. And they will be great ambassadors for our city.
Great. Thanks, Chief.
Yeah. Yep. Congratulations,
yeah.
Chief.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you all.
Gentlemen.
Madam Chair, can I make another quick comment before they part? Chief Slater, I just want to thank you for your leadership. As everybody here knows, we've been through a lot in this city lately, and it's times like these that you couldn't be more thankful to have a fire department that is as prepared as we have been. And this has put a tremendous strain on our city and on our department. And the men and women of the Ogden Fire Department have stepped up, risen to the challenge. And all of this has been done with a new fire chief who has not had a command staff in support during the administrative period. These gentlemen, as well as a host of others, have stepped up to fill up those gaps. Now Fire Marshal Parr, then Deputy Fire Marshal Parr, then Acting Fire Marshal Parr has stepped up big time to help make sure that our community is protected, that ongoing construction sites are secured and protected. That required a lot of different measures that have been put into place under your authority and the authority of the chief and my authority and directive. So I want to thank this team for helping us get through. I know that we still have some summer left. It's been a really dry year. exceptional circumstances, but thankfully we've had exceptional men and women who have stepped up to help get us through it. Thank you very much for that. Yep.
Thanks
again.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Mayor. All right, moving on to the rest of our agenda. The next item is the approval of minutes for the closed session of March 18th, 2025. Councilmember Chaburka.
Yes, Chair. I've asked Councilmember Blair to actually review those minutes because I was not in attendance at that meeting.
Councilmember Blair.
And I do what I'm told, so I did review those minutes, and I found them to be accurate of what I was asked to do. I did review them; they are accurate.
You've reviewed them. They're good. Okay. And the joint work session and regular meeting of July 15th, 2025. Councilmember Myers.
Madam Chair, I've reviewed the minutes of the joint work session and regular meeting of July 15th, 2025, and found them to be accurate to the best of my ability. And I'd like to make a motion that we approve the approval of the minutes.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Myers, second by Councilmember Blair to approve the minutes. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes. Next on our agenda is a consent item for the consideration of the reappointment of Scott Larson to the Board of Adjustments.
Chair, I'd make a motion that we approve the appointments and adopt the consent item.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Vice Chair Heyer, second by Councilmember Graff to approve the reappointment of Scott Larson to the Board of Adjustments. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry. Any opposed? All right. That passes.
Is Scott Larson here?
Thank you for asking.
That is a good question.
Just curious. Oh,
Doesn't look like it.
okay.
All right. Next on our agenda is a public hearing to look at the proposed fiscal year 2025-2026 budget amendment. Mr. Sorensen.
Good evening, Chair. Thanks for allowing me to be here to present this budget amendment for your consideration this evening. I'll go through the items listed. So this appropriation that for your consideration tonight is to increase the city budget by $3,342,875. The total amount and the items that are listed there are not quite as much as the amount of the budget opening, but because of how we do governmental budgeting and accounting, it looks like a little bit higher than what it is. So I'll go through the items and what they will be budgeting for. And so in beginning with the general fund, we're proposing to appropriate a use of fund balance in the general fund. A majority of that is proposed to transfer out to two other funds, and I'll discuss what those uses are for. And then a portion to stay in the general fund in the police department to support the purchase of some police vehicles and some charges related to those. So the total increase to the general fund is $750,750. Of the amounts coming from the general fund, $350,000 of that is proposed to transfer to our capital improvement fund. And the purpose of that is to be used to purchase the property located at 952 Childs Avenue. I know there's been some discussions with the council and with administration on the use of that building. So the $350,000 would be used to purchase that property. In the storm sewer fund, it's proposed to increase that budget by $158,000 to recognize a grant the city received from the Division of Water Quality for Stormwater Improvements. This is from the state, and this is to deal with sewer overflow issues near Lester Park. And then in the Fleet and Facilities Fund, the increase there is to appropriate $340,000 transferred in from the general fund. And the purpose of that is to be able to purchase 5 additional police units. With the police department being more fully staffed at 150 sworn positions, we currently only have a reserve of 3 extra police vehicles. So you can imagine when you've got that many more officers and positions filled, as accidents happen or as units are down for maintenance, it creates a strain. And so the police department is proposing to add 5 additional units that'll give them a little bit more of a reserve on hand so that when they do have those issues come up. So these, and then the other item in the fleet fund is in regards to some funding from in the miscellaneous grants fund. So I'll skip that $305,000 and go down to the miscellaneous grants. So in our grants fund, when we adopted the budget, when council adopted the budget this year, we recognized just over $2.9 million of grant funding from the state for homeless mitigation. We didn't have the final award yet of how much the city would receive and the uses of those funds. And so what this appropriation is to increase the additional funding that we did receive from the state to support those things here in the city. A majority of those, though, the funds that we receive goes towards police and fire wages. But then there's also funds that are used to help with purchasing equipment, security patrol, training for our homeless advocates, also to purchase a mobile care unit. And that's what that $305,000 in the fleet fund is for, to be able to purchase a mobile care unit that the city will use. So all of those items is an increase to the miscellaneous grants funds of just over $1.4 million, bringing that total grant award that we received to just over $4.3 million. It's a great thing that the city has received in support of homeless mitigation and supporting and helping those services. So again, before you is a total for your consideration tonight is an ordinance that increases the city budget by $3,342,875. Any questions on any of the items?
Any questions for Justin?
I don't have any question, but I just have a comment. I just wanted to say how much I appreciate the administration for helping to fund or share some of those funds with Lantern House in our community. The mitigation funds is just going to be hugely impactful for the services they provide, along with the other things that we're funding. So I just really appreciate the administration for doing that. It'll make a big difference to us.
And I appreciate you mentioning that. Thank you. It was in my list of things and I forgot to mention that, so thank you.
Any other questions? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussions?
Madam Chair, hearing no other discussion, I'd like to make.
We
Oh, sorry.
Public
Thank
hearing
you.
here.
Oh, excuse me.
All right. This is a public hearing. If you have questions or concerns about this, please come up, state your name, and talk about them.
Thank you.
Come up quickly, not like a sloth, right? Yeah. Please come up. This is just for this budget amendment.
Linda Sanchez. I have always been an advocate for the homeless, and I do appreciate helping them with that mobile unit. I do really think that will help. The other thing that I've talked to some of the peoples in the community, and they're being charged with homelessness, so they're like in a criminal way. So is that going to feed into that as well? I saw that it's funding the police department. So are we helping them so that they don't just get jailed for being homeless? Are we giving them ways to help them? Because sometimes they don't have a choice. So I just was in questioning that. Thank you.
Anyone else talk? Okay. All right. Anybody else? Oh. And this is just for the budget amendment, right?
Correct.
Okay. Just making sure.
No worries.
There's
Thank
plenty
you,
of
Madam
people
Chair.
in here that might not be.
Yes. So I just wanted to thank the City of Ogden first for our partnership with my hometown Ogden. My name is Steve Griffin. I'm the city chair for my hometown Ogden. We appreciate the partnership we've had in the last 3 years. I just wanted to share maybe a few metrics of what the city and my hometown, as well as other religious organizations, charitable groups, and businesses have done inside the city in the last 3 years. At the close of this year, we will have done over 1,600 projects in inner city Ogden, which is 1,600 homes. We'll have over 20,000 volunteers that have come in from inside the city as well as all the surrounding city as well. And we will have had over 66,000 hours of volunteer hours serviced. Not only along with that, we currently are hosting 3 different community resource centers. Those resource centers will teach well over 100 classes in a year's time over 3 different semesters with over 2,000 students, with classes ranging anywhere at no charge to all of those students, from sewing to reading to home budget to home improvement. And we work with other organizations such as Weber Morgan Health, the city itself, as well as the American Red Cross and United Way to provide those classes. The purchase of the building on Childs Avenue would benefit all in the community. Just a little note of history on that. It was built as a defensive fort in 1853. And it became, at that time when there was only Bingham's Fort, Mound Fort, and Fort Buenaventura in the community here, it was the first community center where they had their school and where they met as a community at that time. Those residents there later abandoned that fort and came down into Ogden. But I would love to see and hope that you could appreciate the value of that property as not only a historic site for the city, but also one that can continue to take care of the needs of the community here, and that we might be able to be a part of that building and move forward. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Steve. All right, let's go online to Teresa. Teresa?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
I can, thanks.
Thank you. This is Teresa Bramwell. I just wanted to chime in on this topic of homelessness. Hearing that we're receiving a large amount of money for homelessness in Ogden. I'm currently sitting on my porch on 25th and Monroe. I don't know if you can hear the swearing and the yelling behind me coming from the property next door, but there was a drug deal going on over there just now. And I saw another drug deal happen yesterday, and I saw another drug deal happen earlier this afternoon. I found a drug needle on my porch today, and somebody's old ID from Vernal. I don't know if that was the gentleman that I had arrested a couple of weeks ago that was passed out on my porch, because I didn't get his name, but I'm continuously bombarded on 25th and Monroe by crime and homelessness. I don't know why it's here. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know why they're being lured to this neighborhood, but there needs to be some serious money involved in getting rid of the homelessness at 25th and Monroe. I have continuously been bombarded by it. I'm tired of dealing with it. I have spent thousands of hours of my time dealing with homeless people, their drugs, and their crime. And I am so tired of it. It has destroyed my property. It has destroyed anybody's ability to want to be here in Ogden. It has destroyed people's confidence in Ogden. And we need money. We need money bad to get rid of the homeless people on 25th and Monroe. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. All right. Anyone else?
Chair, seeing no more movement in the audience and no hands online, I'd make a motion that we close the public hearing on this item.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Vice Chair Heyer, second by Councilmember Graff to close the public hearing. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Let's address some of these if we can. Thank you. I agree. The homeless mitigation fund going to the Lantern House is definitely needed. I think the mobile unit and the homeless those are two different thing. I was trying to understand Linda's I guess you just want more money going to the homeless side, and the mobile unit is what I was understanding. Is that correct?
What I was hearing, I mean, there's been some national news and other news around the criminalization of people living unsheltered in the community, and so I feel that's kind of what Linda was mentioning. But I think one thing I really appreciate our city administration, past administration as well, and the police chief and the fire department is they've worked so relentlessly to do alternative things to necessarily criminalizing people. It doesn't mean other entities in our community might not do that, but I have full faith that our advocate program helps with that and connects people with resources and continues to build relationship with people so that then they build trust. Because a lot of times the systems have burned people for various reasons, and so they don't always trust the system anymore. So I have faith that our city's doing the best they can in many ways to help alleviate that, but I can't say that about all places. It's my own personal opinion.
And hopefully putting more money into that mitigation fund, we can continue to try to figure out how to reduce the crime that's around some of these areas, and it may or may not be homeless or those experiencing homelessness. So,
Chair, can I provide some context in addition?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to give assurance that we don't criminalize homelessness. We don't focus on your circumstance as a matter of criminality or not criminality. We look at behavior. Certainly there are criminal acts taking place in our city every day, some of which come from unhoused population. And where those crimes occur, we respond, and where we can be, we're proactive in our preparation and response for that. But we are as caring and compassionate as anybody can be, frankly. We are the only city that has homeless advocates the way that we do. And the advent and the creation of the first of its kind that we know of in the nation on the police side to bring the police department and homeless advocacy together for the purpose of providing service and providing housing. And so we are housing people each and every day. We do that in cooperation not only with our housing advocates, but also with our partner at the Ogden Housing Authority. We also have a number of nonprofits that help in the housing process as well, including the Weber Human Services. In addition, we are the first city that we know of that has implemented a homeless medical advocate program, and that is designed to meet people where they're at, where we provide medical services primarily through and in the shelter and around the shelter to make sure that we're getting to illnesses before they become serious circumstances. That has proven to show a reduction in the number of people that end up in not only needing transport to the emergency room, but end up in the emergency room. That's yielding better results in the emergency room in terms of services provided. It should be yielding savings and costs for healthcare services, because every time someone that can't provide payment for medical services goes to the emergency room, that's usually a write-off by the hospital that ends up being passed on to the rest of those that can pay. And so we're looking at a lot of different things to make sure that we're meeting people where they're at. At that same time, if there are criminal acts taking place, we're absolutely taking action. And to the point where most of our community policing bureau is now kind of the homeless policing bureau. It's become such a significant lift and burden on our city. And that we're thankful that we have these grants to help mitigate the impacts of homelessness on our community. But the real reality is that Ogden City is doing most, if not all, of the lifting in northern Utah on this. We are not getting help from neighboring cities on this issue. And that was the point. When we had the Aspen Cares project that came to us, we pushed back because it was high time, long past time, that everybody step up to help. We're talking about humanity. We're talking about people that need and deserve love and care and kindness whenever possible. And because we did that, we now know that Roy City is stepping up and starting to provide housing for the unsheltered. Just like the model and the entire system was set up to do, was to make sure that everybody is lending a hand to help to lift. Because the burden on our city is significant, it's severe. And the comment we heard over from Teresa Bramwell, we hear that comment from her a lot, but it's real. And when we concentrate poverty in one place, it becomes impossible for one city to handle by ourselves. And so we are actively looking for as much help as we possibly can. We're being as compassionate and kind and caring and loving as we possibly can be, while making sure that we're holding people accountable for criminal activity. Thanks.
Thanks, Mayor.
Madam Chair, I'd just like to recognize and thank Steve Griffin from my hometown for his leadership and for the beautiful work, outstanding work that's been done by my hometown and our community. And just aside from some of the beautiful things that he mentioned, some of the influences that are done through my hometown are self-reliant classes that are taught to our residents at no cost, open to anybody that wants to come. With that, there are also budgeting classes and finance classes and parenting classes. There are music classes that are currently offered at the Marshall White Center. There's several classes that are offered up at Golden Hour Center. There's music classes, both piano and guitar classes that are taught, as well as English and Spanish classes that fulfill a need for many of our residents that are not able to afford to pay to have those services done, and my hometown provides those services. So just hats off to you. I'd also like to say thanks to the administration for negotiating this arrangement with that purchase that building for many other purposes other than just my hometown. It will be a city building that can be used for many additional purposes. But thanks very much to the administration and to my hometown.
Great, thank you.
You started to make a motion. Did you want to?
I'd like to make a motion. I'm very passionate about this amendment, and I just would like to make a motion that we approve the amendment. And I don't even have it in front of me right now, Madam Chair, but
2025-28.
Thank you. So that's my motion.
Through the ordinance. You said amendment.
Oh, I'm sorry, with the ordinance. And I'm not even on the right page.
You want me to just take
let me take a minute. There we go. I'm ready.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the proposed ordinance 2025-28.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Meyer, second by Vice Chair Heyer, to adopt proposed fiscal year 2025-26 budget amendment, proposed ordinance 2025-28. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Chaburka?
No.
Councilmember Graff?
Aye.
Councilmember Myers?
Aye.
Councilmember Ritchie?
Aye.
Councilmember Blair?
Aye.
Vice Chair Heyer?
Aye.
Chair White?
Aye. That passes. Any comments?
Yeah, just to piggyback on Councilman Myers, I'd like to thank Steve Griffin for being here and for all the work that he is. I believe he said he's the chair of the of my hometown, which has really done a lot of great things within our community. So thank you for doing that and for making our community better. I'm excited for the impacts that I believe this building will provide or will allow us to do or to provide for our residents. And I said earlier, both old and young. I think there's a lot we can do, and a lot of gaps that we have in our services that we can address through this. And so I'm excited about the partnership with my hometown and with what the administration and our city leadership has put forward. So.
Great.
May I make a comment? I just want to say that I support the majority of the items that were in the budget amendment. And I thoroughly support the My Hometown initiative and efforts. I'm just not ready to purchase that building yet. I just need more information. Thank you.
Great. Any other comments? All right. Moving on. Next on our agenda, is public comments. This is an opportunity to address the council regarding concerns or ideas on any topic. It appears as though there's quite a few of you that might want to talk about a single topic. If there are any people in the room, let's give them a chance to maybe come up and step up first if there's something that other than maybe the topic at hand. If not, we will just move on.
Chair, can I provide an update too before
Yeah,
might help
yeah,
the context? Okay, whenever you're ready, sorry.
All right. All right. Knowing that most of you guys are in this room for one topic and one topic only, I would like give the mayor a couple of minutes, if you would, to give us an update on the Taylor Canyon property, because I'm assuming that's what we're here for. Yep. And you could do that. Maybe that will help. And then.
Thanks. So just wanted to update the community on something that happened today that we were kind of expecting, we just didn't know when. So the school board's process for determining whether the property provides an educational value, we expected it to happen at some point. We thought it'd be further in the future. It came upon their agenda, no problem, that's theirs to set. So they have made that declaration, that determination. I've been asking questions, when does the 90 days start? Is the 90 days a minimum, et cetera? So the statute does allow for 90 days for us to consider it. I wanted to clarify that 90 days is the minimum requirement in statute, and that the school district notified us today that that they were notifying us of our ability or our opportunity to take action within the 90 days. My chief administrative officer, who's not here today, Mara Brown, wrote back. It was addressed to her and CC'd a couple of us, but she wrote back and said, because of some of the ongoing efforts that we've been going through, because we've been through this before, and so we started a new study for a space utilization study, because we wanted to make sure that we had more information than what's currently provided in our recreation master plan. That we may need additional time beyond the 90. And so we asked the school district if they would be amenable to that. And we asked for an uncertain but a reasonable, within reason timeline. And they pretty quickly wrote back and assured us absolutely that they're a strong partner. We're clearly two anchor institutions within our community. And it's in their interest and in ours to make sure that we are not rushing through this, because we think that there's an artificial timeline in statute. And so they're in no hurry. We are in a hurry to get it right, but just want to let the community know that the 90-day deadline is no longer necessary. It was just something that's provided in statute, and that the school board has already, or the school district has already assured us that we could have more time to make sure that we get it right. And what we asked for more time to do was for proper assessment of utilization of various different spaces, so that we can, one, recognize, do we have enough open space within our community at large? Do we have it in the right places? Are we using it appropriately and at its maximum benefit? Are our parks and our open spaces amenitized appropriately for those usage and demands? And I also was very clear, and I gave this direction to my staff a long time ago, in communication with the school district. A paradigm that I have is that we are one of the few cities and school boards and school districts that share an exact boundary. If you talk to other cities and other school districts, they share multiple cities within individual districts, and that creates a whole bunch of complications. We have the benefit of sharing our constituency completely and 100%. And in my view, it's very responsible, and it's our responsibility, I should say, that we treat that constituency in a collective and collaborative way, that we are not asking to do something that is repetitive or redundant to what the district's doing, and that we ought to be working in a way that makes sure that leverage their assets and resources and facilities as well as ours. And so that's why, when we've gone through this in the past, we didn't have that space utilization study, and that's why we commissioned it in cooperation with school district facilities, so that we can look for opportunities for overlap. Where do we have opportunities for additional usage, especially if we add new investments for new amenities within those open spaces and parks? Can we be able to provide more and more services with the ones that we have? And then what are the key areas of gap within our community? And then we can inform our decisions moving forward. So that's kind of where my perspective is at. And I just want to let everybody know that that's going to really highlight more need in our community, I think. Also more opportunity, especially for collaboration with the school district. And then I want to assure everybody that no decision has been made on this property. No final decisions have been made in terms of its potential and its future. So we are here to listen to what you guys have to say. And I also, one other thing, we asked the school district, we also want to make sure we have time to do proper neighborhood engagement. Rushing our way through it, even just doing a proper appraisal could take up to 60 days. And that's just not a good enough timeline for us to force our way through and think that we're going to get through this 3 minutes at a time. We want to have proper community engagement, neighborhood engagement, because I'm hearing a lot of actually good ideas coming from the neighborhood, including what about a coffee shop? And that those are also neighborhood stabilizing and strengthening and community strengthening moves. And so I want all of those options to be on the table as we consider this opportunity, and want to assure everybody from my perspective that nothing has been decided as final and that everything is on the table starting tonight. And I look forward to hearing your feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. So in order to expedite this process, if you will line up, if you want to talk, please come up, state your name, and you'll have 3 minutes. And if we could just line up, it'll help with the flow. So thanks.
First off, thanks for that, Mayor. I appreciate you getting out in front of this and doing that. Real quick on the homelessness issue.
Name.
Oh, Heath Sato, Ogden resident.
What?
How many times have I done this?
I know.
That property that was being discussed earlier is abandoned, and we have more issues at abandoned properties. And I would like to consider looking at fees and that sort of thing to help cover the additional expenses when people abandon their properties. So that real quick. I actually came here tonight, though, to join with a lot of other people here to talk about the open space we have left. My own proposal I'd like to throw into the ring here is to consider a community land trust for this land, to create a public park for now and later give Ogden citizens the power to decide if we need part of that for below market rate housing, because we have a real housing affordability, to piggyback on that earlier comment. And yeah, I mean, I know sometimes we come up against, like, how do we pay for this? But we just pulled together $2 million to buy the Aspen House pretty quick. So I know we can do that when something's a priority, and I consider green space to be a priority. So I really appreciate you considering the wishes of the people here tonight and of the community. Thanks.
Thanks, Heath.
Hi, I'm Stacia Ryder on Taylor Avenue. I'm just going to hold up my sign really quickly. I want to thank you so much. It's great to hear that we're working on an expanded timeline. My day job is a researcher who studies procedural justice and engagement on environmental issues. So I would love to talk more about how you're approaching community engagement. Anyway, I'm here tonight with a large group of people, and we just have a few points. I have a few points that I'd like to make. We think that acquiring this property to maintain it as a green space aligns with the city's 2019 Parks and Rec Master Plan, as well as the community plan, which of course is a little bit outdated, and the community needs. The Taylor Neighborhood Plan notes the importance of the parks to this community. So this is a long-standing connection folks have had in our community to the green spaces and parks. And it indicates that they should be preserved at their present locations. I've got some subpoints for all of these, but I'll share this with you because I can't go through them in 3 minutes. We have had tons of awesome ideas. So I did start a neighborhood survey again, because that's what I do as my day job. So I was really interested. We have tons of ideas, but we also recognize that the current amenities are really great. And so it could be a very low cost to maintain the property while the value of the land continues to appreciate. We know from research that conserving this green space can provide a good return on investment. There's some great work being done by the National Recreation and Park Association that shows how much can be generated through these spaces and what the returns are for conservation. Based on the community surveys and the conversations that we've all had in the last week, folks are frequently using this green space and want to see that maintained. And I can give you more details about what I've found so far on that. And we, of course, don't dispute the need for housing, but we think that this green space could be more valuable to the city and residents as green space. We know some other areas in our neighborhood aren't necessarily fit for purpose, like the soccer games at Thomas Park. It's not exactly the right fit, so we can talk about that. And We've also talked a little bit about requesting that there isn't consideration of a rezone until all of the other options for purchasing are considered. Sorry, I hear my child. I didn't know if my husband wanted to take my last 35 seconds wherever he
can have
is or has gone.
He can have his own 3 minutes.
Well, I think she's going to keep talking very loudly, so we'll have to go. But in short, keeping Taylor Canyon as a green space aligns with several city and community strategies, provides adequate space for a variety of community activities that nearby parks don't. It reflects the interests of the Taylor community and is likely to be a good return on investment for the city. So we ask that you consider meeting and working with us to develop potential ideas for how we might be able to creatively and collaboratively work on this issue. So I just want to thank you for your time and your consideration. Thanks.
Thank you.
We can't clap, please.
Hello, my name is Hannah Wagner. I prepared for 1 minute and now I have 3, so I'm sorry about that. I want to start with just explaining my Ogden roots run extremely deep. My great-grandmother worked for the Standard Examiner during World War II while her husband was off at war. My grandmother, her daughter, worked at Union Station and retired there and told me all about the scary hauntings of that building. My grandfather patrolled all of Ogden for many years and retired as assistant police chief of Ogden City. So when I say my roots run deep, they run deep. I am passionate about this city. I bought my home with my husband 6 years ago. It is a 78-year-old home in one of the most beautiful neighborhoods in this city. It is one neighborhood that has sustained the community, has sustained building without overdoing. We have beautiful trees. We have a beautiful new updated elementary school, which I'm grateful for. And we do not want high density housing in this community. I do not want high density housing in this community. This space is used by so many community members. One of the things that I appreciated about Mayor Benjamin Nadolski, and I apologize if I don't say that correctly, was your initiative and your saying about not building apartment buildings in our downtown community. Our communities deserve the same. Our neighborhood deserves the same. I understand growth. I work in a construction company in the city. I very much understand development, but our community deserves to be heard. This space is utilized. It's one of the only spaces in our neighborhood that is up to date and is safe for children to play at. And although I haven't been blessed with children, I do have 2 beautiful dogs that love to play out in the grass in that park. And I'm grateful that you are hearing this and you are aware of this now, but we will not stop until we are heard. We are so willing to work with the council and the community. We understand development, but I think it is important that you all hear that we are passionate about this and our community is standing strong and we want to keep Ogden as historic as possible. So thank you.
Great. Thanks, Hannah. Hey, let's try not to clap between people. We're not supposed to be doing that, so thank you.
Oh, not supposed to clap?
Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry.
I might as well leave then. My name's Arlo Kunzler. I was born and raised in Ogden, Utah, the old D Hospital in 1960. It's a park now. And it's my understanding that Taylor School was built on a green space that was set aside years before by our founders or our wise, forward-looking leadership, and that was in 1950. So for 75 years, most of that space has been a park with the school included. And everybody I know growing up here has sleigh rided and played in that park. And My wife and I just climbed the stairs last night with our dog on our nightly walk. Everybody uses that green space, and that is a fantastic half square block green space that Ogden does not have available in very many places. And that particular place with the view of the sunsets and the mountains, if anywhere, should be a good park. It's not going to be Central Park, but it's along those lines and that kind of city planning that used to take place in America. We don't need high density housing in that park. We need that park there for our children and our grandchildren, both of which I have. I have 2 children who are married, raising children in this area, right around the park within short walking distance, who are raising my grandchildren, 5 of them so far. We got probably another 5 coming, but I'm keeping the pressure on. But that creates a community. There are plenty of places to increase housing density, but this puts a good heart in that portion of the city. With everything else Ogden has going for it, we really need that. So please don't pave paradise. Let's take advantage of this diamond that we have available. And like I say, I know if we research it, we may find out that they can't sell it because it was a green space to begin with. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we really shouldn't be cheering or booing during our public comment. So please hold your cheering and your boos, please.
Let me preface that. There's reasons why, and the reasons are that we have to have the ability for both sides to be able to present. Mm-hmm. And so if we're cheering for one side and not for the other, so that's why we're trying to put a cap on it. So thank you. We want to hear you guys all. Keep going.
Absolutely.
I'm one of his kids, actually.
Oh, okay.
That's raising kids in the area.
State your name first.
My name is Elsa Bowman. Good evening. I'm a mother of 2, and Ogden is my hometown. I was born here. I live here now, and I have lived near the park within like a mile or 2 most of my life. Now I'm closer than that. But anyways, we're here to speak tonight for the heart of our community, which is the green space at the former Taylor Canyon Elementary School. And for generations, this land has been our backyard. It's where kids have scraped their knees and families have gathered for picnics, where so many memories have been made. This isn't just a plot of land, it's a legacy that we can't afford to lose. The space is already very well used and loved by residents, and it provides a large area for activities like soccer that the nearby parks just can't accommodate in the same way. In fact, many of our other local parks, notably the 2 closest parks, I'm referring specifically to Thomas and Lions Park, are in a really sorry state. And the playground at Taylor Park is actually one of our very best in the area. So to lose it would be a massive hit to the kids in our community, my kids, and a lot of other kids that are their friends that I know. I have heard many incredible ideas for this space, and I have several of my own, and I ask that you will meet with us to discuss those ideas in detail. But our first priority is keeping this park a park. That's the most important thing to us. It's providing so much value just how it is right now. Acquiring this land isn't just about preserving memories. It's the smartest move we can make. It aligns with our city's own master plan for Parks and Rec, and it's a solid investment. We know that there's a need for housing, but some things are irreplaceable. And we ask you to recognize the immeasurable value of this green space to our community's well-being. I beg you to buy back our park and to keep Ogden green. Involve the community in decisions about the future of this property. And before you consider any rezoning, please let's work together to preserve the legacy of this this park and explore all the future possibilities that this cherished space can hold. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Good job.
My name is Jordan Wilkinson. Thanks for having us tonight. And growing up, I participated a lot in community sports. I had the opportunity to also participate in competitive sports, but as time has gone on, that gap for affordability in competitive sports has outpaced a lot of the members in the community and being able to keep up. And so having public and community events for soccer, for basketball, baseball, sometimes that's the only opportunity for kids in the neighborhood to participate on team sports, to get out, to learn new skills, to create that membership in the community. And being near both the Taylor Canyon as well as Thomas Park, I invite any of you that have kids, grandkids, individuals that play soccer to visit that park on a Saturday when they have soccer games. It is a liability waiting to happen within the street. It becomes a one-way traffic in and out. Kids are running around. There's not infrastructure or amenities to support the community in being able to show up and to participate in those events. I have family in the surrounding areas that actually come to Thomas Park to participate in playing soccer. And there have been more than one occasion where I've received a call from my mother to ask if she can use the restroom at my house because there's not one in the nearby area. At any of the parks within walking distance, none of them have amenities or abilities to support families, support grandparents coming to watch soccer games that take an hour, to support those that have young kids that may not have a bladder control or the ability to wait time to make it home. And having this opportunity in this area that has infrastructure, has goalposts in place, it has hookups to add restrooms or coverings for families to gather, as well as a place for the community to really grow, participate, and to get that feeling of fulfillment and being a part of something bigger than what they are. I just advise to continue in reaching out to the community, and I appreciate the mayor's remarks earlier about the efforts that are taking place, and we thank you guys.
Thank you.
Laura Lewis, Ogden resident. I want to thank you, Mayor, for the approach you're taking on this project. That's a big relief. I feel like you're putting the thought into it that it deserves. And one of the things while you're thinking, I'd like you to, I noticed in the previous meeting, you mentioned the well-being, Utah State University well-being survey. And I hope you'll take that into consideration while you're thinking, because if you remember, family life was 72% of the well-being priority. Second was connection with nature. So those are very high priorities for the well-being of people that are currently living here in Ogden. And as far as housing in that area, 67% of people believe that our population is growing too fast. That's mentioned in that survey, and a whole lot more. And you've probably looked at it. But anyway, I hope you will take those as guidelines as you're considering this. And also, if you have never seen that property, I don't live in that area, but I attended the meeting and I was so impressed with that piece of property. And I've seen a lot of views in Ogden in my lifetime, but there's nothing like that. It is like almost a 360-degree panoramic view of the Ogden Valley. You see Ben Lomond, Mount Ogden, you see the Great Salt Lake out there, and it would be a shame to put housing in that and limit that view to a certain population. That should be something that should be shared, because I think that represents what Ogden is about, the wild side of Ogden. It's beautiful, and let's not mess it up with housing. I know we need it, but let's find another place besides that. And one other thing, I attended a meeting a while back where Ryan Wilcox spoke. I believe he's the representative for North Ogden at the legislature, and he is over the law enforcement and child trafficking. And he mentioned that they had a a trafficking ring right out there at Lee's Marketplace in that little complex. And he mentioned that the institutions that children previously attended are disappearing. And it wasn't 3 days later after that, I saw the Boys and Girls Clubs are closing down. So places, safe places for kids to go are disappearing. So we need to save these green spaces, promote organized sports at a cost that families can afford, and this is the perfect place for that. And I hope you keep those things in mind. They're about their family, but children need parks within walking distances of their home. They can't depend on a parent to run them down to 4th Street or down to Lester Park. They need to be able to get there on a bicycle, and those are neighborhood parks, and that's what this would be. Yeah, I think it's a perfect location. Is my time up already? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Laura.
Hi, my name is Suzanne Vincent. Coming 10th, most of my points have already been covered, so I'm just going to cover one. Ogden City has a unique opportunity to snatch up a fairly large parcel of land for park space, for green space that's already in the master plan that is needed. So a piece of land that large would be just perfect for future development in recreation and parks. Because currently, for a lot of different recreational activities, people have to leave Ogden. There's no splash pad in Ogden. There's no large water park in Ogden. There are several things that we go outside of Ogden for. And when we go outside of Ogden to do those things, what do? We go to lunch, we go shopping, we go to dinner, not in Ogden. And anything that we can do to develop recreationally to bring people into Ogden is going to more than make up the investment in this property. So I'm not saying that we need to develop it right now, but let's just keep it for the possibility of future development for recreation and park space. Thank you.
Thank you.
James Humphreys. I live in the space between where this neighborhood is and where Mount Ogden Park is, so I don't have a park within walking distance of my home. But I did notice that within 20 blocks of where this location is, there are more parks already in place as acreage set aside for open space than anywhere else in the city except along the Ogden River Parkway. I'm not saying that's good or it's bad, because if you look at them, as has been stated earlier, Lions Park is fairly useless, and Thomas Park is very underutilized because it's not well developed and the property is incredibly small. The JC Park does okay. It has some bathrooms, but it's used mostly for dogs. But in general, that's a challenge. A large property like this is a fantastic opportunity for us. But as the mayor has pointed out, if we are going to study what we're going to do to ensure we get the best use and practices for the community in the space, then we should also include those other spaces as well. What's highest and best there? Should we be developing more of Lions Park? Should we, for park space, should we be renovating the Thomas Park or making an adjustment on some of that acreage? We should take a more comprehensive approach so that the total acreage of open space is best used for the community, as opposed to just trying to set aside more space that may or may not be as well used as it could be, considering the uniqueness of that location. And it would help for someone like myself to be able to encourage me to go to that spot, as I do when I walk up 29th Street to use the trailheads to go into the foothills that are already available to us right there. But it's not as easy for me to access that material. And I want us to take the most advantage possible of those opportunities. So I want us to take the time and I think expand that study to not just those 4 acres, but to pay attention to the other parks in that space and see what we can do for highest and best use for those communities as well. Thank you.
Thanks, James.
Thanks, James.
Hi, my name is Martin Long. As you can hear, I'm not from here. I'm a recent Ogden resident and live close to the park, and also a recent father. And I was so excited when we moved close to the park with these visions in my head of taking my daughter on her first sled ride down those banks during the winter, or playing soccer with her playing in the park with her and having all that right on my doorstep. Where I'm from, that was always something that was there and is heavily invested in for the community. And it's something that I was really happy to see and have in my neighborhood. So it came as a bit of a shock and was kind of sad to find out that this was kind of what was happening. So I was just kind of hoping that you guys would consider that this space is unique, like many people have mentioned, and it also does fall in line with the 2019 plans for green space for Ogden. And I believe that we're not actually have enough green space to residential property as currently. And once it's not green space anymore, it never will be again. And that's a sad thing to think about. And if it's something we can put some kind of pause on and just, like the last person said, just consider all our options. I feel like 90 days is a short amount of time, maybe a bit longer now, but it's still, let's try not to rush the decision and make an educated one. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening, Madam Chair and council members. My name is Chelsea Alexander. I have lived in Ogden for about 7.5 years. We moved in right when my oldest daughter was going to kindergarten at Taylor Canyon Elementary, and we were thrilled that we were just a third of the mile up the road down the road from school, and very saddened when the school district decided to close it, which I understand the need for that. But what a unique opportunity they created for the rest of us who are able to now take advantage of that space. For all of us here, there are probably 5 to 10 other people who couldn't make it, who have strong voices and opinions that this space is used on a daily basis. One of my neighbors said, "We use that every single day. It's such a shame that if it gets taken away from us." We go ride our bikes. My teenager, she and her 2 teenager friends, they go walk up there and they just sit and talk and get to know one another, and they create that community and that sense of independence because we can let them walk to and from without feeling like they're unsafe and they're in an unsafe space. I don't let my teenager have a phone, so I can feel rest assured that she's going to make it there and back without harm or incident coming to her. I do appreciate your time. I just wanted to, I guess I'm the tail end. Oh, no, thankfully we have one more. I don't have to be the tail end. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for considering the options. I appreciate your thoughts on the matter, Mayor, and for updating us. We really do appreciate consideration. We had been told that the city decided they already had made a decision and they didn't want this space, and so we're fired up. So please consider this and let us know how we can help and work together to be cohesive, to make this work out for everyone, for all of our parks and all of our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kirk Clossy. I've lived in that neighborhood since '78. Our kids went to Taylor. I'm not going to be able to say anything that you haven't already heard. Thomas Park is a can of worms, and as it's been talked about, something bad is going to happen. There's plenty of space with the Taylor Canyon property. The sewer is stubbed, the water is stubbed, there's a parking lot there, there's a small children's playground, the swings, the basketball courts. It really has it all. Yes, it's going to cost some money. It's an investment. They're not making it anymore. This is an investment, and you don't know. It might be sold back to Ogden schools soon. Who knows? I've noticed in the neighborhood we're getting a lot more young families, a lot more children. The need's going to be there. Bottom line is, it's a golden opportunity. I hope that you will study it with your heart, not just the dollar and cents view. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kurt.
I'll only need a minute.
1 minute.
Mr. Mayor, thanks for being here. Madam Chair, thank you. Council members and staff. My name's Phil Okarma. I'm lived in Ogden since 1980. Love it here. I worked for the Parks Department for 14 years. This morning I had a meeting, a very interesting meeting, with Monty Stewart, the Director of Parks. And he turned me on is on the web. It's public information. As the mayor wants to do a survey, and I think this survey is woefully neglected. It was done in 1916, December of 1916. And that's what I wanted to say. I think the mayor's right on track getting a new survey.
Get a new survey.
Thanks,
Is that
Phil.
it? Oh, great. 1916. I'm writing that down right now. Okay.
Council, Mayor, I wanted to take the time. My name is Kurt Kunzler. I am a longtime resident of the East Bench, specifically that area. My parents went to Polk Elementary School. I went to Polk Elementary School, and my daughter is now in first grade at Polk Elementary School. We love that area. We frequent the parks regularly, and I wanted to put my support behind preserving that as a green space. I think from an economic standpoint, it makes sense. Taxpayers in that area have contributed to that park. I went to school with some of the daughters of members on this council that we have played at those areas and those parks. Obviously, that was a school at the time. From a property value standpoint, green space tends to increase property values 10 to 25%. If you just took the 200 homes that are basically directly around that park or that space alone, you'd be looking at around a $50,000 property tax increase just to Ogden City's portion. If you take the 1,200 homes in the Nob Hill area, it would be much more than that. Additionally, I wanted to echo what Kurt Clossy had said about Polk Elementary School. There are a lot of young families, mine included, that are having children in this area, and Polk has been a great elementary school. The redevelopment has been fantastic. It is full. There are a lot of kids there. We're to the point where lunches are staggered. Kindergarten's going at 10:30, and they have 15 minutes. It's very busy, and so I do foresee the potential of new ground needing to be broken as demographics have changed. When I grew up, there were a lot of kids. Then it went through a lull period. Now it seems like it's coming back. So I just wanted to put my support behind that. I think it's a great community investment. I think from a property tax standpoint, the city would benefit. And I think that area is really incredible real estate and underutilized and really underappreciated compared to the rest of the bench in Utah. If you look anywhere else, the property values are much higher, and Ogden's starting to really come on the map. So that's all I had to say, and I thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kirk.
I just wanted to augment
Can you
comment.
pull that down just a little bit for Brandon? Oh, thanks, Laura. Thank you.
I just wanted to augment a comment made by someone else. This is a picture in case you haven't been there to the park. So,
what's your name?
Jackie Francisco Okarma.
Thank you.
Linda Sanchez. I challenge all of you to go to this park. So let me just tell you, I have 4 grandkids that I was taking care of a few years ago. I live up north. We would go all the way there in the winter because that was the safest place that I didn't freak out when they were sliding. And then they had enough, there was so much field to run, I could like run them all out and then bathe them and they could go to bed. Coming from like not having any children to like all of a sudden 4 children, that was my go-to almost either every day or every other day. And it was pretty successful. I want to say, I do want to challenge you all just to go out there because the view is absolutely phenomenal. So if you haven't been out there, take your dog, or if you don't have your dog, take your wife. Just walk around there and tell me, or husband, whoever, just take a walk and just enjoy the scenery, because Literally, it is really amazing. With that being said, we really should be thinking. A long time ago, we've been through this before. Green space helps mental health, not only for our children, not only for ourselves, not only for our loved ones that we have to deal with, that we might get short with, but for everyone, the dog, the neighbor. We really need to start thinking about these things. I know we need high density, and you all have told me that all the time because I don't want it. But when we're doing this, why aren't we having the developers make that a mandatory item that they are checking? The city is good at checking boxes. This isn't nope, you can't have it. Why isn't this a mandatory box that we're checking so that we can make sure the mental health of not only ourselves but those around us are safe and secure, because it does help. And with the developing over by Wall Avenue, this is a prime opportunity where there's nothing there. There's going to be stuff there, you all tell me. Well, actually, it's the plan in motion. Let's think about that. If they come to you with a plan that doesn't have green space, make it. Demand it. Us citizens deserve it. And we need it so that we don't come up here and just rant and rant and rant. By the way, I do want to say one thing. It was really nice to hear about the fire department and the police department for the last 3 weeks now have really been helpful to the other agencies. And we as citizens really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks, Linda. Maybe they...
I'm going to come up here. We're going to go with that.
Nope, I don't want to. Yes, I do.
This is our sweet little introvert.
That's okay.
Yes.
It is very.
So my name is Josie Wilkinson, and I live less than a block away from this park. And I would love to be able to tell you about the countless mothers standing behind me that are not able to be here today. We are part of that generation of young families in this community. We love living in Ogden. Many of my friends, many other people in our same boat may have grown up in a neighboring community, neighboring city. Ogden's where we want to be. We love Ogden. We love having all of the amenities, all of the things available here in Ogden. It's a well-established city. We have beautiful trees. We have beautiful parks. We have roads that invite people to walk. We have a community that makes people want to go outside, whether that be up on the bench, whether that be go outside in town, whether that be go around their own neighborhood. And the reason people want to go outside is because there's green space. There's space to breathe outside. There's space to get a better vantage point, clear your head. And that is something that this park breathes that kind of life into our community up on the East Bench. I wish so badly that these meetings did not coincide with so many children's dinner times and nap times and bed times and bath time routine. There are countless families up on the East Bench and throughout all of Ogden that are doing that right now that wish they could be here tonight so badly. I'm very thankful I could, and I'm thankful that I can voice this to all of you. We love that green space, and we want to grow with it. We want to put our roots down here in Ogden. We want to stay in Ogden. We want our kids to want to stay in Ogden when they're in our position. And if Ogden looks so drastically different from the Ogden that we have all fallen in love with, that's not going to be the case. People aren't going to want to be somewhere that's not inviting. And keeping these green spaces make it welcoming. They welcome community. They welcome friends. I have met many of my friends that are in the same demographic as I am out walking on the East Bench. We love to walk. We push our strollers. We take our kids. And the parks are the places that make that possible, especially when you have a gaggle of kids with you. Without them, that community goes away. And that community and the beautiful piece of land and country that we were given is what makes Ogden special. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well, my name is Karen Barrett. I live south, right across the street from the park. Thank you, by the way, to all you guys. I watch out my window every day, and I see people over there. And I see dogs, and I see kids just having a good time, and parents with their kids. It's a safe park. Right now, it's safe. And we don't even have a lot of the amenities that we could have there. The recreation area. I can't even imagine how much more fun it would be if we were able to develop on it. But right now, we just want to get the green space. I understand that. In the wintertime, people are doing cross-country skiing on it. They're sliding down the hill. There's two hills, one towards the front, towards the back. It's been mentioned earlier about the sledding. I mean, it's so much fun. And we're all looking forward to what we could do to it, but right now we're just want to keep it the green space. And if we're having that much fun with it now, I could just have tears in my eyes to think what it would be later on if we get what we want out of this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, councilors, my name is Craig Rollins. I live 5 houses east of the park on Oak Street. I've lived in Ogden 40 years. My kids went to Polk. My grandkids went to Taylor Canyon and Polk, still are going to Polk. Everyone has said what they want. I'll tell you what I don't want and what a lot of people don't want. A park is great. It keeps the land there and you can use it for a school or something else down the road without having to buy out homes. I can accept selling it and putting in single-family dwellings. What I do not want is high-density housing. Now, I talked to the city manager, Mark Johnson, when the school was first torn down, and he told me that high-density housing was not an option because even if a redistricting was allowed, the infrastructure was not there. We have a quiet neighborhood with narrow streets. We have no sidewalks in our neighborhood. We can walk down the street of an evening and we're safe. It's a quiet neighborhood. High-density housing would increase the traffic unbelievably. It would increase the noise. It would be a detriment to the quality of life that we have living in that neighborhood now. That's my opinion, and since I can't keep my opinions to myself, I've shared them with many people who agree with me. So there's my input, and thank you.
Sorry. I thought that was funny. I shouldn't have laughed. That was good. Thank you.
Well, online.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, I'll go online. Teresa.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
You can now. Yep.
Thank you. This is Teresa Bramwell. I just wanted to chime in and say a few words about this Taylor Canyon property. I did drive by and take a look at it last week when I heard this might be an issue. And I also drove by JC Park, which I had seen on Facebook that some work had happened there last week. And I saw both of those parks. I think the Taylor Canyon property is beautiful. I agree with the previous speakers. It has lots of views. But there's a lot of things in play about parks in Ogden City. In my neighborhood down here on 25th and Monroe, we have Lester Park, which had plans to be developed and have a lot of fun things put in about 10 years ago. Well, that never happened because Ogden City didn't have any money and it wasn't important. And so we've had drug dealers and we've had crime and all those things continue to happen in that park for 10 years. Even after there were plans to make it a nice park 10 years ago. Also, there are quite a few elementary schools in Ogden that have already been closed. I know James Madison is no longer an elementary school across the street from me, and Gramercy is no longer an elementary school that's on 12th Street. And I think there might be one or two more in the north part of Ogden that I don't know of specifically. And I've heard a bunch of people in your meeting here talk about two parks in their neighborhood up there above Harrison that they don't like. They don't like Lions Park, and they don't like Taylor Park. I've heard at least 3 or 4 people mention that. They said it's a can of worms. It's terrible. The traffic is terrible. There's no amenities. And what I think Ogden City is lacking are single-family homes and taxpayers. So I think this Taylor property would be perfect for single-family homes and one little pocket park where the jungle gym is. Or this could be the park, and perhaps one of these other parks that the people don't like, the Lions Park or the Taylor Park, could be turned into single-family homes. But that area above Harrison is where the developers are going to want to build single-family homes, because that's where people want to buy single-family homes and where they want to live in single-family homes and pay the taxes on single-family homes. That's what Ogden is lacking. We have way too much high-density development, especially below Harrison. And I think the people above Harrison need to start, taking their share of some of the development as well. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Thanks, Teresa. Anyone else? All right. I think there was a lot that went on. I appreciate everyone having an opportunity to talk that they wanted to. Is there anybody else going once, going twice? All right. You know what? I think there's a couple of things, Mayor. Maybe there's some follow-up to some of the comments around. I think, first of all, I heard you say some things about trying to really understand what we want in that neighborhood and what we're trying to do, and that's why you reached out to the school district to say, hey, hold on a second, we've got some things in motion. So if you could follow up, that would be great.
You bet. Thanks for the opportunity, and I have the added benefit of not having to manage the meeting while listening, so I was able to scramble and take a lot of notes. So I might bounce around a little bit here, so I won't necessarily go in order of the comments that were made, but just bear with me if you don't mind. A little bit of this is on the fly, but I just want to say that one of the commenters said that, I think it was Linda Sanchez mentioned, you challenged us to visit the park. I want to tell you that my own kids played soccer at Thomas Park, Taylor Canyon, and Alliance Park. In fact, my oldest daughter lost her 2 front teeth at Thomas Park. Yeah, that one cost some money there. My wife coached basketball at the courts on the school ground at Taylor Canyon during COVID. And I wish I could have joined her, but I was busy rupturing my Achilles coaching flag football at Ogden High School at the same time. So I was laid up at that point. But we're well aware of the need for access to open space. In fact, youth recreation is something that I'm personally really passionate about, and it's because of all the time spent coaching. And I know that I'm not the only coach at the dais now or in the past, nor the only athlete who had grown up in youth recreation, looking at Chair White playing softball growing up. And I'm sure there are others, but the need for open space, the need for access, the need for recreation is really important. Phil O'Karma, I think, thanks for the 1916 survey comment, but I think you probably know where I live because you used to wave at me frequently. You've worked a lot of long hours for the city, for open space and for parks, including late nights, and you always were a friendly smile and a friendly wave. So I hope you're enjoying retirement. But I say that because I think you know where I live, and you know that I live near a park, and that we chose where we live because we want to be near a park and near open space. And so what I'm trying to get across is that we want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to have that kind of access. And not everybody has the opportunity that I have to be across the street from a park. This group here has that opportunity right now too, but it's reasonable for us to wish for everybody to have some level of accessibility, right? Whether it's a few blocks or down the street or a little bit of a walk. That's what we're looking at. And so when we talk about listening to the community, we're listening to the entire city and we're listening to this neighborhood. And I think a good example of that is was brought up by Teresa Bramwell. She brought up Lester Park. She also brought up crime. Those are real issues that have been happening there that are unacceptable. And I just want to point out, and this is probably a pretty good model, maybe not a perfect model, but just an example of what we've done in the past and why what we're talking about doing here is possible again, because we held a neighborhood meeting at the library for Lester Park because we heard all of the input around all of the plans from 10 years ago and that wasn't getting done. And for me, I'm a mayor that wants to finish. I want to make promises that we can keep and fulfill and to finish, to get across the finish line, right? And there was an enormous promise made a decade ago that was undeliverable. Frankly, it was so expensive and so out there. And so we brought the neighborhood together. They talked about the crime issues, talked about the need for activating and also improving the space so that we could activate it even more. And if you didn't see the article that came out a few days ago or last week, we are on the brink of the first phase of a multi-million-dollar park improvement and amenity improvements and investments there. It's the first time in years that we've been on the brink of doing that. And so we've been down this road before where we've heard the neighborhood pushback and heard the concerns. But what ends up happening is that there's a lot more options than we're giving ourselves credit for. And so one of the things that I want to really state super clear is that on my watch, I will not be proposing apartments or high density housing in this space. No way. Now, I only speak for myself as the mayor. This is there's two separate forms of government here. But I am thankful to know that I work with a city council who is reasonable and rational and thoughtful and deliberative. And I want to make you guys a commitment as well as a commitment to the community. I'm not going to put forward a haphazard, rushed approach to this. I want to look at every opportunity and every option before us because we might be surprised. I heard that there was good feedback from the neighborhood survey. Stacy Ryder, I think was her name. I'd love to see that survey. I would love to see that. If there's a lot of good ideas, I want to hear about them. But I just want to make you guys that commitment, and I'm not going to shove something through because of an artificial timeline. And I want to make that same commitment to the community. So the school district's request for a rezone, I agree with the comments that I think that it should come at the end, if it comes at all, that any kind of rezone request should be something that is part of after a deliberative engagement process, that we know where we're trying to go before we ask for a rezone. If we went and rezoned it R15 today, what if we go back and zone a portion of it R15 and zone a portion of it open space? Like, it just doesn't allow the option for any kind of a hybrid approach or any kind of an open space approach. So let's put that on the back burner and get our facts straight first. What I don't want to do is to do what was mentioned by a few of the speakers tonight. Because you mentioned, let me put on my glasses so I can read on this one. Alyssa Bauman? Elsa, sorry. Okay, sorry, Elsa. Daughter of Arlo Kunzler, I think is what you said, right? Okay. And Arlo, I know your name. Where did Arlo go? Well, I know there's a Kirk and an Arlo tonight. There's two Kunzlers in the crowd. And I know that Arlo's the one that signed the access to open space petition today. So I just wanted you to know, I hear you, brah. Elsa, you said that Thomas Park is in a sorry state. And I'm not going to argue with you, right? And that's kind of part and parcel of the issue. This is not just about pure acreage and just getting acreage and leaving it alone. And that's why we're doing the study. Is I don't want to just get acreage just for the sake of getting acreage. Just like we shouldn't just build houses just for the sake of building houses. And we sure as hell aren't going to build apartments there. But we need to be mindful about how we're amenitizing them too. Because what I'm hearing from you guys and what we hear all the time is that if it's not a good quality experience, people aren't going to use it. And I think we're going to start to see that in our usage study, is that we have big open spaces that aren't providing the level of service that they could because they're not being used in the right way. I can chat with you afterwards. Yeah. And a number of you guys mentioned about bathrooms and park space, right? I'm not even sure that this one sets ourselves up for playable space because of its topography and things like that. That's another issue that needs to be looked into. It's on a steep hill and we require a lot of earthwork and retaining walls in order to maximize the space. And then when we do that, what would we do with parking? I've heard some of the neighbors in the comments email to me that you don't want a lot of traffic. Well, that would bring a ton of traffic, especially if we don't have a good parking plan. And so we need to be really mindful of, if this becomes open space, what do we do with it? And how do we do it in a way that strengthens the neighborhood, not lessen or reduce the fabric of the neighborhood? Jordan Wilkinson, I'm with you on sports. Where did Jordan go? There you are. Especially comp sports too. And that's why we've created the Ogden Untamed program, which is a program that helps reduce that barrier for cost for competitive sports. It's not travel or elite sports by any means, but it allows kids to play multiple sports at a higher level of competition without having the financial barriers, including the travel. And that's something that we've developed here at this city because of that exact issue. All kids deserve access to opportunity. And finally, I think it was also Linda Sanchez that mentioned we're seeing these spaces that kids need disappear. And it was Laura Lewis. You're right. It was Laura Lewis talked about Boys and Girls Club. The proposal beforehand and why you guys saw my hometown step up is because the council approved tonight the ability to purchase at an absolute steal of a deal. Is it 15,000 square feet building? 14 or 15,000 square foot building for a fraction of its value, so that we can partner with my hometown to provide classes and services to kids and to families, in addition to other nonprofits that we can open that space up to and use that space to activate it to provide the kind of things that you're talking about, Laura. And just to put a pin on this whole thing, in the last few years, we have invested in 25 of our parks. I think we have 44 in total. Let me look to Phil.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of parks in this city. We've put tons of investments in 25 of those parks just in the last handful of years, including purchasing the school ground at 4th Street Park that was surplus from the school district to add to the space that we already have at 4th Street Park so that we can build more ball fields and more space for kids and families to recreate. The reason we did it there is because we had that kind of an opportunity, and we had a study that said that was needed, especially in the north end of town that lacks that level of service. And so as we go into this, I just want to make sure that you guys know that I'm committed to a deliberative process, that no final decisions have been made, and that I commit to the council that I'm not going to put something before you that hasn't been well contemplated and considered. And that's all I have to say. I'm sure something else will come to mind, but that's all I got for now. Thanks.
Thanks, Mayor. Comments from the council?
I'd just like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. We beg for community engagement often, and it's really great to see everybody turn out and engage in what they're passionate about in the city. I appreciate everybody's comments and look forward to seeing how the process unfolds going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chair, I'd like to make a mention too that if your 3 minutes cut you off, all of us are available through email and telephone, and there is no 3-minute time limit to talk to me. So take advantage of that. Sometimes those are even lots better than these one-sided 3-minute things. I appreciate all the input too. This is a very new thing that kind of came to us that this property was even going to become available, and there's a lot of work to do. And I appreciate the mayor's approach. Let's get some input. Let's have some work groups, and let's see what everything's how it might shake out. So it's just early in the process. That's what I wanted to mention. Is it's just very early in the process. So just hang in here with us. So thank you.
Great.
Chair, can I say something?
Sure.
Numerous times from up here, I've said not only am I proud to be from Ogden, but I'm proud of Ogden. But when I say I'm proud to be from Ogden, I grew up on 1456 Swan Street. I don't know if somebody actually lives there now. I don't live there now, but that's where I grew up, 1456 Swan. And when I think of being from Ogden, that's what I think of. I think of being from, to me, that was the northern end of town, right? And so when someone says, yeah, I know. My bubble was pretty small when I was little. But because I had everything I needed right there. It was mentioned numerous times I need to visit the park, and I'm probably the only one up here that doesn't need to visit. I can tell you everything about it. I spent every day, every summer, my whole youth at that park, or it was a school. I spent every day during the school year there too until I was in 5th, 6th grade. But I was just trying to think of the things I learned there. Yes, it was the 70s, so I learned to roller skate there. I learned to play soccer there. I learned to play baseball there. I learned to play basketball there. It was my own personal driving range. I could take my golf clubs and hit a ball back and forth all day long. I don't know who said, the safe sledding, I guess we sledded in the front of the park and you guys sled in the back, because we went all the way across the street into the houses on the west side of Taylor. So it was fun. That's not up for debate, but safe is not the word we would use. I felt fortunate as a kid growing up there. I remember being told how fortunate we were to grow up in the East Bench and to have this setting. And that's what I assumed everybody had. I don't know why I do this, but I just assumed everybody had it. I really, really loved where I grew up. I've always been proud of where I grew up. And it's neat to see people that now live in my part of Ogden have that same pride and have that same passion about where they live. So I appreciate the mayor. I appreciate all the dialogue. I've probably fielded 10 plus phone calls in the last 2 or 3 days. I was hoping, maybe if you know her, Megan Merkley called and was passionate that she was going to be here tonight, and I was assuming I would hear from her too, but she didn't make it. But I thank everyone that reached out via email or phone to share their passion and to share their vision for what that part of Ogden can become, and I appreciate it. I think there's some great opportunities, and I think that's a great space, and I agree. I don't disagree with anything that was said here tonight. Open space, green space, it makes for better and healthier communities. And I agree with that. And I think everybody would agree with that. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity. Just like when the school board deemed it surplus, it created an opportunity for each and every one of us. I think we now have a wonderful opportunity too to see what we can create. And I'm proud to live in a community where, and be part of a council and to get to work with an administration that values collaboration and values the opportunities to make Ogden better. And I believe that we can do that. And I believe that this is the opportunity that's before us now. And I look forward to having those conversations. So I piggyback on Councilmember Graff. And yeah, if you need us, call us. If you need us, find us, email us, whatever. I mean, this is the time. This is the time to have those conversations and see what kind of a product we can put together. And I applaud everybody for being here, and I applaud those that got up. I applaud those that emailed. I applaud those that called. It's not easy, but it's easier when you're passionate about something.
Yeah.
I just have a couple of things to say. Again, yeah, thanks to everyone for coming. And I don't need to visit that park either because I've been in Ogden about 21 years now. And for the first 6.5, I lived just a couple houses away from that park. So I love it very much. And my little kids played there quite a bit and did sled on the safe part because they were too little. But I also just need to make comment, as you all know me, I need to stick up for my current neighborhood, which is downtown by Lester Park and near the area where Teresa called in about. And I just have to say that I don't have the same experience of my neighborhood that Teresa does. I don't invalidate her concerns. We certainly have challenges, but I love living in the neighborhood I live in, and I'm happy about the recent developments with the Lester Park. And we had a great open house. Really appreciate the administration and the staff for being there, and a lot of community members came out to that meeting too. So I'm excited to see about the progress there too. So thank you.
Thanks.
Madam Chair, may I?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks. I just want to acknowledge my many friends and neighbors that are here today, and your voices have been heard. We appreciate your coming and participating, and this is what this is what government's all about, really, to hear your voices and to give us an opportunity to respond and think and prepare thoughtfully. So anyway, thanks again.
I'm just...
Yeah, I'm waiting for Councilmember Ritchie to show in here.
Hey, I was just waiting for an opportunity. So I just want to say thanks to those who came, and thanks for allowing me to join electronically. I'm sure that whatever I have that's made me feel under the weather, I wouldn't want to share with anybody. So, but I'm grateful to those who have reached out to me personally and those who were there tonight in the meeting. And thank you to the mayor for explaining our process and understanding that no final decisions have been made. Sometimes it's hard when we come into a meeting and feel like, there is a belief that we've already made up our mind on something, and that's not the case. It's nice to hear what other people have to say, and as we come together and collaborate and work together for something that's good. So anyway, just wanted to share that. Thanks.
Thanks, Councilmember.
Feel better.
Yeah. I wanted to follow up too, and I think just piggybacking on what he just said, I'm disheartened that you thought you only had 1 minute to talk and that you were prepared to talk really fast. So I hope that you were able to express what you needed to, at least in 3 minutes. And like the others have said, please reach out to us. And then the second part is that we have not made a decision. In fact, until today, we didn't even know what was the timeline from the school district. So we knew that they had gone through a process, that they were going to take this off the surplus of their property, but we didn't know when. And so after listening and finding out, at least we know now, and we are able to now start to do our process and work through that. And I really appreciate the mayor and the administration listening and trying to figure out what the best use of this property is. I think as one of the people that actually signed the recreation master plan, there's also a couple of things in there that we should look at, and that is something else that the mayor said, and that is how do we fix and work with and the amenities that we have. One of the reasons why you like that park so much is because it has a really nice play structure. And what would be if that was at Thomas Park, or if that was at Lions Park, or the D Park, what would that do to those parks as well? And so really trying to start to think about, and I think that's what you were saying, Mayor, is what's the usage and what's the utilization, and how do we make all of our parks better, not just one area, but how do we really expand that and look at what we're going to do with parks in Councilmember Heyer's area and down in Lester Park. And so really trying to say, what can we do? And thank you, Mayor, for taking the lead on the utilization side of that, or the usage side of that, because I think all of us are up here waiting to help figure out how to do that and make that happen. And so thank you. Any other comments?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion by Vice Chair Heyer, second by Councilmember Chaburka to adjourn. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
I don't know why I say opposed, because I'm pretty sure everybody wants to leave. So thank you guys for coming.
Thanks again for being here.